I do recognise our special guest, the Acting Prime Minister, the Honourable Tuala Tevaga Ponifasio. I also recognise the executive representatives of Volunteer Service Abroad who have travelled from Aotearoa to these shores, namely the V.S.A Council Chairman, Dr. Simon Mark, and the V.S.A Deputy CEO, Michelle Evans. In addition, of course, our MC Langi, my Deputy Head of Mission, Laviai, and the V.S.A team here in Samoa, V.S.A volunteers, past and present, and V.S.A partner representatives. Talofa lava, manu ele ahi ahi pai. Greetings to you all on this auspicious evening and a beautiful Polynesian sky. I think we've been waiting for some really quality dry weather here in Samoa, and we've had it for the last week. I only hope it continues for a lot longer because it's just wonderful and brings all the people together. Last September on this very terrace, we had the privilege of commemorating with the Governor-General of Aotearoa, New Zealand, Dame Cindy Kiro, and the 60th anniversary of the establishment of Volunteer Service Abroad in Aotearoa. This year, we are privileged to celebrate 6 decades of V.S.A volunteering here in Samoa. Other presenters will speak to you about those 6 decades and the many milestones achieved by V.S.A volunteers in this country. I simply wanted to focus, as Reverend Iosefo has, on the act of volunteering. As the representative of the government of Aotearoa, New Zealand and Samoa and American Samoa, I have always been humbled and amazed by the generosity of spirit of those who serve as volunteers worldwide and in their own communities. Volunteers are making a real difference in the lives of many people and the communities in which they serve, not just here in Samoa, but everywhere. Most non-profit organisations, including V.S.A, would not be successful in pursuing their mission without the support of these wonderful volunteers. According to some UN economic statistics, in 2015, over 62 million people provided so-called non-profits their time in the form of volunteer services. These volunteers provided just short of 8 billion hours of service. It's quite remarkable. And I think that's probably underestimating the actual hours and the time that they spent volunteering everywhere around the world. There is something truly special about being able to contribute to the greater good. Volunteering has been shown to improve a volunteer's own mood, to decrease their stress and increase strength. The benefits of volunteering are full circle for volunteers and the communities they serve and the volunteer partners. The concept of volunteering or service is an integral part also of Samoan culture. Central to Wha Samoa is the notion of tautua, or service to God and to others. It stems from the philosophy of alofa, of love, responsibility, hospitality, caring and dignity. This is not service in a hierarchical relationship, but actions that are carried out with consideration and integrity. Tautua is congruent with the notions of selflessness, putting others before oneself. The popular Samoan proverb of whakatauki, ole ala, ile pule ole tautua, meaning that the pathway to leadership is through service, is commonly understood by Samoans around the world as an important life value. So from the Samoan cultural worldview, social work has a purpose to enable the world to live more amply, with great vision, with a finer spirit of hope and achievement. It enriches the world through service to communities, the agencies, and humanity. In addition, as Samoans, and we've just heard from Reverend Iosefo, have strong Christian values, there's a belief that the more one takes the needs of others to heart, the more one becomes close with God. All of you assembled here today who are volunteers, whether to V.S.A, other organisations within your community or your ainga family, can and should be very, very proud of your achievements to your fellow human beings. So please take a bow and applaud yourselves. And I hope for new and emerging volunteers, or those wanting to become volunteers, I hope you become inspired by the exploits of those volunteers who have gone before you, and aspire not just to emulate them, but to also surpass them. And there's a great mural here, down here, of the 60 years of V.S.A. in Samoa, where you can go through and be inspired, not only by that work, but there are other volunteers out there as well, who are amongst our midst, including from Japan and from Australia, UN system, and of course the United States. Just like Reverend Siosi, I always like quotes, and so I'd like to start in my speech by noting some other quotes, including that by Gandhi, where he said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And I think it was Elizabeth Andrew who had that volunteers do not necessarily have the time, but they have the heart. But I'd like to quote particularly from Sherry Anderson, who said that volunteers don't get paid, not because they're worthless, but because they're priceless. So I'd like to say a big thank you to the priceless, humble multitude of volunteers out there, but especially to the volunteers past, present and future of V.S.A. in Samoa for your tautua, your service to Aotearoa, to Samoa and the Samoan people over 6 decades. May you continue to support the Samoan people for another 60 years. So fua ia manua le afi afi, tēnā koutou, kahuri.
Reverend Siosi Salisulu, Your Excellency High Commissioner Dr. Trevor Matheson and your good lady, Dr. Simon Mark, V.S.A. Council Chair, V.S.A. Deputy CEO and Director of Finance and Program Delivery, Michelle Evans, and your V.S.A. team from New Zealand. International volunteers, sending agencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I would like to acknowledge the Dr. Reverend Salisulu for those wonderful remarks he made and words of encouragement, and of course our devotion to the Lord this evening. And similarly, Dr. Trevor Matheson for those wonderful words that you have spoken about in relation to the V.S.A. and their role. Now, I'm very pleased to join you this evening in celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Volunteer Services Abroad, the V.S.A. program in Samoa. Last year, we were honored to host the esteemed Her Excellency, the Right Honorable Dame Cindy Kiro, as we commemorated the momentous 60th anniversary of the Volunteer Services Abroad. This evening, and for this year's celebration, the V.S.A. program achieves yet another remarkable milestone as it marks 60 years of its impactful presence since the first 2 V.S.A. volunteers set foot in Samoa in 1963. Today, therefore, presents us with a unique and meaningful opportunity to reflect on the 6 decades of V.S.A. history, dedicated service, and profound impact in Samoa. In 2010, the government of Samoa and V.S.A. signed a significant memorandum of understanding outlining the new terms of agreement, shaping the operation of the volunteer program in Samoa. Today, V.S.A. proudly collaborates with over 30 partner organizations from government ministries, civil societies, NGOs, and private sector. To date, there have been close to 350 volunteers who have worked diligently with these partner organizations throughout Samoa, engaging in diverse fields ranging from education, tourism, agriculture and fisheries, environmental sustainability, health, community policy review, and youth engagement, to name a few. Samoa has been enriched by the unwavering commitment of V.S.A. volunteers. whose passion for service and generous support has played a key role in contributing towards the socio-economic development of both our nations and her people. Through the selfless sharing of their knowledge, specialized skills, experience and expertise, these volunteers have assisted in bridging the gaps within Samoa's human resource capacity. I'm pleased to say that it has also been a two-way mutual beneficial arrangement. The volunteer initiatives undertaken reflects a mutually beneficial partnership between volunteer and partner organizations as they return home with a wealth of new experiences cultivated through meaningful cross-cultural exchanges and lifelong memories shared with the local communities. On behalf of the Government of Samoa, I extend our deepest gratitude to all the volunteers who have contributed their time, effort, and resources into the development and growth of Samoa, and for the lasting transformation and positive change they have instilled into their partner organizations, stakeholders, and their wider community. The steady growth in the numbers of volunteers stand as a testament to the success of programs like V.S.A. and their long-standing partnerships with the people of Samoa. As we celebrate these achievements, let us also take the moment to recognize the challenges faced. The outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in 2019 and the subsequent lockdowns brought about unprecedented challenges to the volunteering landscape as borders closures led to the repatriation of all in-country volunteers, resulting in much of the international volunteer work coming to a halt. I understand this was not the case for V.S.A. program, where it was able to successfully adapt the program delivery by shifting all volunteers' engagement into the online e-volunteering delivery modality. E-volunteers working remotely from New Zealand were able to continue to engage actively with government ministries and non-governmental organizations in the agriculture and fisheries, tourism, and education sectors by sharing crucial technical knowledge and providing ongoing advisory support to local staff. Furthermore, many of these V.S.A. e-volunteers were able to return to Samoa when borders opened to resume and complete their assignments. Over time, we have since witnessed the return of all other volunteers from various volunteering agencies to our shores. As we commemorate the 60th anniversary of V.S.A. program in Samoa, it is our hope that V.S.A.'s valued presence will continue to offer greater opportunities to foster strong friendship and create new avenues for meaningful collaborations to promote socio-economic growth and strengthen human capacity. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the important role of the V.S.A. Samoa office for effectively coordinating today's celebration. I also wish to commend the excellent rapport which I understand has been developed between the V.S.A. Samoa office and our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade in conjunction with our line ministries' local partner agencies. Ladies and gentlemen, can we remain upstanding and fill your glasses? Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses for a toast as we celebrate all volunteers, recognizing in particular today's commemoration of the 60th anniversary of V.S.A. in Samoa. Ia manuia.